to Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today we have a beautiful guest, Karen, with us today, and she will tell us a little bit about herself, introduce herself, and we'll go from there. So, welcome, Karen. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Hi,
And
Eva.
hi, hello, and please share us with you a little bit about yourself, your background, and then what inspired you to write for the ripple effect of impact.
Sure, I'd love to. So I'm in Oakville, which is just west of Toronto in Ontario, Canada. And so I have a sales and marketing background, but before that, I was really keen on art. So I was one of those kids that took business in school, in university, because, you can't make a living as an artist. So skip through children and marriage and all that good stuff. And I find myself in midlife and I was spent. I was a hollow shell. I was working, we're a dual working family, really busy kids. And I found myself driving to work and not remembering the drive, kind of like arriving in the parking lot and just, oh my gosh, how did I get here? So it was one of those things, and I was kind of given a gift of which didn't feel like a gift at the time, but literally got pushed out of the company. And I realized now that was the best thing ever. So I started an art gallery and got back to my art. It was just this longing that I kept feeling. And so that's what I did. I started an art gallery also because I didn't have a lot of confidence in my own creativity. So I thought I'm going to starve if I work on, trying to sell my own art. So I took on other artists, made an online gallery, and that evolved for 10 years. And then I found myself just before the pandemic. Of course, nobody knew at the time it was before a pandemic, but as an artist and focusing on creativity now for 10 years, one of the components or one of the features of an artist is that you're very observant. And I started noticing a lot of grumpy people, if you will, and just started paying attention to what was happening. And I was seeing evidence of people not using their creativity for very easy and obvious things. And it occurred to me that a lot of people were disconnected from their creativity. So I started what I now call ArtSpa, which are workshops to help people reconnect with their creativity. So that's how I got to that point. And then in terms of the book, I belong to the Forum, which is this amazing group for like a nonprofit for supporting female entrepreneurs. And I got to meet a woman, Kathy Dirksen, who was telling me all about these fabulous collaborative books. And I thought, I wonder if I have a story to tell, just in terms of what I had been through. So one of the things that I challenge myself with is doing one bold action every day. So on that day, the bold action was signing up to write a chapter in a book, which was a lot less daunting than writing a whole book. So that's how I got involved with the book.
Wow, that is a truly amazing story. And we do have a lot in common too, because I'm also an artist. I used to paint with acrylics and many other media too, but mostly acrylic. And I definitely can relate to the artistic part of the soul. And it is really important to, I believe, to nurture it and, have that part of you as well in life. So that is really truly, and congratulations on your gallery. That's I have to check it out one day. I haven't had a chance yet. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Everyone is so busy.
But that is amazing what you do. So what is the core message you hope readers take away from your contribution to the book that's actually coming up soon, which is August 20th? We're super excited for that book, by the way.
It's really coming around. I hope that people realize that their innate creativity is their superpower. I want them to live in that. I want them to feel that, because this whole world is a hot mess right now. There's so many things that needs to be fixed and corrected and rebalanced. And I think if just more people had creative approaches to how to approach some of these issues, then we would all benefit. I drink this tea from Yogi. It's called Yogi tea. And it's this fantastic flavor called Egyptian licorice. And every day you get a little message in the tea. And one of the things that actually also pushed me towards doing the work that I do is it was, inner peace means peace in the world. And I thought, yep, that's what people need to see. So your innate creativity and working on that is going to give you inner peace. And then hopefully you can go and, cause impact in other ways to help the world heal, just help everyone.
Be the ripple effect, correct?
You're right. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how has writing for this book impacted you personally and professionally?
Personally, it really helps me summarize and condense my story so that I'm not boring you for half an hour telling me how I got to where I am. So that was one thing that it really did. And professionally, it enabled me to explain my origin story so that people realize that what I'm doing is accessible to everyone. It's not an immensely special story. It's just, I'm sharing it so that other people realize that those stories are important too. And that, this whole concept of creativity is not remote. Everyone has it inside them. They're just either disconnected from it or they're doing well, they're using it and they're not acknowledging it, which also, can miss opportunities. So yeah, personally, it really helped me condense my message and make me realize that, I do have some writing skills. Took me 5 drafts. I don't know how long yours took, but took me a few drafts with lots of help. Yeah.
Yeah. On my first one, it took a while. I was like, to be honest, a deer in the headlights. I'm like, I don't know, but I made it happen. So yeah,
Yep.
it takes practice, right? No matter what you want to do, we're not born, know it all. We have to learn
No,
things. And if we want to master it, yeah, we have to keep at it, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And on
No.
a professional level, how has this book impacted you?
Well, on a professional level, it gives me the opportunity to show and send somewhere to understand my origin story. And then it also provides an explanation for people to understand that they also have an origin story and that it's probably in some way connected to their creativity, and that it gives them an opportunity to see that they also can do this, and that your creativity is with you, it's in you whether you use it or not. So yeah, that book is going to be great, and it's also an excellent thing for me to share because there's so much in there more than just about creativity. There's so many beautiful stories in there. I can hardly wait to read them.
Me too. I can't wait to read all the other stories. So it'll be so amazing. Were there any other challenges you faced while writing this piece? Was there anything else you'd like to share?
It took me a while to remember the steps, that would be logical for someone to follow. So as I'm writing these things down, it's amazing how much you forget when you're just on a path. And so, yeah, it really it brought up some things but as I say, it brought up some things. It took a while for me to, think of it logically, that I could explain it to someone in a way that is concise and that they understand it. So that was a huge challenge for me, was just laying it down in a manner that made sense to people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you did it. So
Yeah.
that's a
Yay.
huge milestone right there. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing your story in there. Can't wait
Thank
to read it. And can you share a story from your experience that has had a significant impact on someone else's life?
I thought about that question, and there's a couple of answers I have. And although they may seem small to me, I think they had a big impact. So one example I have is a client who was purchasing a painting, and she was actually she was interested in two, one for sure, and she found them on the website. I can't tell you how she found the website. I can't remember that part. But, she had a lot of concerns. She wasn't sure about this one, and she really liked the colors in this. They were both abstracts, and there were a lot about the feelings. And she was talking about this one piece, and she just didn't understand what the artist was doing in this piece. And when she used the word doing, I mean, she could have used, what is the artist trying to say? She didn't understand the composition. Like, it's that doing word is a lot and very loaded. So I reached out to the artist, and she provided me like a detailed description of what her inspiration was, and the thought behind it. And we're always very careful with, as artists, not to tell you what is everything in an artwork, because an artist's job is done when the painting is done, right? Like, it's a viewer's job to understand and just describe what they see. So the understanding part, though, sometimes needs some support. So this is what was happening. And anyway, we were able to provide her what she needed, and gave her, I think also she really didn't like one part of it. And so the artist like fixed it a bit, and then it turned out amazing. Anyway, so she got the piece, she was thrilled. But the part where it impacted her was that she walked past this beautiful painting every day, and it inspired her. And the other thing it did was it reminded her of me, which was fabulous, because when it came time, she was in charge of many, like 70 healthcare workers. And during the pandemic, they were exhausted, because I believe the majority of them were mental health workers, uh, like in a social setting for a municipal organization. And she remembered, the work that I did. And so together, through Zoom, we did a workshop to give respite for those healthcare workers. And it was an art-based workshop, and it was just time for them to connect. And we did some creativity, and I just spoke a bit about, how the creativity can be a source of stress relief for them, and some inspiration, and just a way to connect with themselves, and be and in the present. And so it was fabulous. So that's how the ripple impact of one selling of a painting that so impacted her, that she was so, she passed it every day, and it made her smile, and it gave her joy. And she remembered, involved me again, and there we are, impacting 70 people. And who knows, those 70 people, after they were refreshed, what goodness they did. It really does expand wide.
Mm-hmm. Definitely does. That's why when I talked to Kathy about this title for this book, I really fell in love with it, because, we can be a ripple effect in almost anything. But,
Right.
you have to look at it, a good one and a bad one, because, if you're having a bad day, you're also a ripple effect to them, because they feel that energy. But of course, we want to be as much as, inspiring as we can, and spread that ripple to others, and be that helping hand. And then you never know when that's gonna help somebody else, and on it can go, right? So that is such a beautiful example you showed here in this story. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
um
you.
and now going back a little bit to the book, what advice would you give to someone who wants to write and create a meaningful impact
What advice would I give for someone that wants to create meaningful impact? I
in
think
writing?
in writing. Well, I think really going back and really thinking about yourself and the journey you've been on. And I think really thinking about how much you actually have been doing for the people around you. And then, you know, if this is focused mainly on ripple impact, then of course it's considering, you know, how your energy is provided or sent or, you know, given to people around you, and then it's what they do with it. So I think I like the idea of taking notes, and I like the idea of recording some of the great things that happen in a day, because let's be honest, when life moves on, you know, 5 years or whatever passes, you're not going to remember what happened, you know, 3.5 years ago on a Wednesday when something really significant did happen. You know, maybe you really changed someone's life by some great words you said or some work that you did. So my advice would be to just keep notes. And I don't specifically call it journaling, because that sounds like a very formal and only once a day kind of activity. I'm more the take notes and when it happens. And it only needs to be brief, just, you know, flesh it out in terms of everything that happened and the people who were involved, so that when you go back, it helps jog your memory.
Yeah, totally. I take notes pretty much, I don't know, a few times a day. And just because sometimes you never know when you might need it. I remember when I went on a world tour, and I was so excited about sharing my stories. Um, but I wasn't quite sure how to go about it. But I did make a notebook of all the stories. It's like about 300 pages of all my travels, right? From over a decade ago. And I still have it. And years went by, and I haven't really done anything until recently. And thank God for those notes, because now I look back and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot that beautiful journey I had here. And then, oh, I can add a little bit of that here. It does help, and then it jogs back your memory.
Yep.
And in personal development, it's also good because it also, yeah, brings back the memories, but then you realize how much you've done, and to be so much, have gratitude for all the things you've done too.
True.
I think it's a great way, especially it also depends what you are using it for, but for me it has helped quite a bit. I used to do dream studies. So I remember jotting them down, and then I went back a few years later. I'm like, oh, that's what that was, thank goodness I wrote it down, because it helps. It surely does help. So um that's definitely a great tool. So going back to now, we talked a little bit at pre-show. Are there any, sorry, do you have any daily practices or routines that help you stay focused and motivated? You said you did have some. Can you share some with us?
I do, yes, for sure. I brought my journal with me.
Yay!
Plans for world domination.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so funny. I think it might have even been a gift. It's probably one of the bigger journals I've had. Um, you know, the designer in me wishes all my journals looked like this one, only maybe slightly different shades that, you know, when you put it on a shelf, it'll just look very elegant. But no, my journals were all different sizes, all different shapes. They're not going to look good together. But anyway, what I wanted to say was, I took some training from Brendan Bouchard. Do you know who that is?
I've heard, yeah.
Yeah. And he does this, what is it called? Morning mindset, I think he calls it. And I really liked it. So I always did a few notes, like, you know, what I'm grateful for and all that kind of stuff. And as much as it was helpful, it really wasn't hitting the mark. And then I found Brendan Bouchard, and he has like a list of about 10 things to record every day. And do you want me to go over those 10 things?
Up to you. You can mention a few.
Sure. I'll mention a few. The first one I really like. So it's about intention. And the first one is like, what are you excited about today? So it's forcing you to look over your calendar and think about what's going to happen today. And, you know, pick one thing that you're excited about today. And the other thing I want to mention is when I started the thing that he was showing to do, I have evolved from that. So I noticed that, you know, what he was asking you to do after a while, a few of them weren't serving me. So I changed them. So now I'm at the point of things that are serving me. So I think that's key. It's got to be something that serves you if you're going to keep doing it. And then if it's not, change it. But I think the whole process of doing something every morning is really important. So I get up early, like 6:10, 6:15, depends on what's happening the night before, of course, but sometimes it's later. And I spend like a good half an hour doing this. And well, sometimes it's quicker, depends on the day. But then I talk, then the next one after, what are you excited about? There is the, what is one phrase that you can repeat for yourself all day that's positive? So that's one thing. And then I write down 2 dreams. What's something that I dream about? And then I write down, what could possibly stress me out today? And I don't get stressed out very easily. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that for long because, I always can figure that out. And then I always put, where's my vibration level today? Like, am I, starting out high, or am I starting out a little lower and I need to work on it before I get to work? And then I talk about pick one fun thing to plan for the day. That could be a walk, that could be a phone call with a friend, just pick one fun thing. And then I record one bold action that I want to take today. And sometimes it's a blank, but I know in the back of my head, I got to fill that in before the end of the day. So sometimes during the day, I'm looking to make one bold action, depending on what happens in the day. And then I write down some evidence where the universe has been supporting me. And then something I'm proud of. What am I going to be proud of today if I finish? Sometimes it's just keeping to a schedule and that's enough. But, pick one proud thing. And then what is the big picture? What is my plan? And then grateful. What am I, 2 things that I'm grateful for. So, and then goals. What are 3 goals to finish for the day?
That is beautiful. I love that. And you're absolutely right. As we grow and evolve and obviously we do advance in life, we have to tweak things because you're not gonna remain the same all the time, right?
True.
And this is a technique I use too, a little bit, where I usually go into a gratitude, for example, one of them, and then I'm grateful for something. But then I usually, if I really want to get into it more, then I add, of course, as we all know, feeling into it. But then I amplify it all. So I'm feeling this way, and then I kind of raise the vibration in general. And then it's like, okay, can I expand this even further? So I help it grow, because usually on the surface, we're so busy with life. I'm like, yeah, I'm grateful. Yay, amen. And then you off you go, right? But you really have to ground yourself in that moment where you're trying to do these things so they actually sink in. Like, this is
Yep.
my true belief, right? Because if you just like, we can say thank you all we want, but it doesn't really do that much justice until we add feeling and heart and soul into it. Then you're amplifying it, anything else, and then it becomes richer, fuller, and more a part of you. And I give you the idea of the gratitude here, but you can do that pretty much with everything, especially with money. You get $5 and some people are like, oh man, just $5. No, go like, okay, $5, wow, thank you so much, and
That's on my way
amplify
to
it.
my first million.
Yeah, right. So you kind of like amplify that feeling more and more. And I usually do it in 3 levels, because the gradual, push it more and then push it even farther, how far you can get with that. So that's the thing I use in this, so I think it's really important as we evolve. Of course, our things will also change because your awareness changes, your mindset, you're growing, you're achieving goals, so of course you have to update your goals, you have to update a lot of things. So I think it's really beautiful to do it every day, so to keep your mind fresh and keep pursuing those beautiful things you want to achieve in life, right?
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, so tell me, are there any upcoming projects or books you're working on that you'd like to share a little bit with us?
got a few things on the go. Well,
Yay.
we had talked about that Healing with the Arts book, so that's pretty cool. And right now I'm working on a workshop, an ArtSpa workshop with a colleague I just met, who's she's a PhD in chemical engineering, or anyway, I'm not going to get it right. She's a medical doctor, and then she's done a lot of scientific work. And so she's focused on nutrition for cancer survivors. So we are planning a creativity and nutrition for cancer survivors workshop. I thought, what a glorious combination, to help people heal from their experience that way, their health experience. So that's something we're planning. And then I have a more formal ArtSpa program in the works. So I'm doing a lot of research for that right now. And it's basically for women who are successful, experience success in life. And that could be different for everyone, but they're kind of longing for something more. So I'm hoping to help them connect more deeply with their creativity so that they can have more impact.
Wow, that's amazing. Can't wait to hear more about it. And for that, of course, Karen will share her information in this video, how to get in touch with her. And then, of course, there's many amazing books out there for collaboration. If anybody's interested, please reach out to us. We have amazing themes coming up for that as well. Now, Karen, how do you personally define success, and has that definition evolved over time for you?
It has evolved over time. I do have some financial success targets in my mind, but it is the feeling, it's the feeling that you're doing your best and you're seeing some momentum. I think that's my definition of success, in that the financial part I think will come, but it's the doing the kind of work that you think you can make the most difference in. And for me, it's the art and the creativity and helping people reconnect with their own creativity. So, as I reach more people, that to me is what is most successful, is when I can impact people and help them improve so that they can impact people. That really is my definition of success.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And so our podcast is called Rise and Thrive, Mornings with Intention. And as you know, what does this title evoke for you? And how do you see the importance of starting the day with intention? I know you've shared a little bit about this, but any last words you'd like to add to that?
I can't say enough about intention, really. I mean, it just seems to make all the difference in what you are doing in a day. Without intention, it's like you're a floating leaf on the river. You just don't seem to have control, and you feel out of control. I think that's what it is. And so with intention, though, it's the things that you're doing have a purpose, and you get to feel that pride and that satisfaction when it's accomplished. And those little boosts of pride and accomplishment, they boost your confidence. And I think that just helps you achieve more. So I can't say enough about intention. Intention means everything.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. And that's definitely it, right? Otherwise, you just kind of zigzagging through life, not really sure. Yeah, I mean, you'll have your moments, but the more intention you set, I think it makes for a much better day and sends a different ripple effect out there as well, right?
And I think your sense of accomplishment just becomes so much more authentic. It's like sure, you can tell people you're successful and that makes you feel good in the moment, but to be internally feeling good about yourself, you have to feel those accomplishments. And the only way you do that is by succeeding at the tasks that you've set out. And the only way you can acknowledge them is if you have the intention of finishing them and establishing them. It's a whole process.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here with us today. Thank you, Karen, for your beautiful wisdom and insights. And we can't wait to read your story in the upcoming The Ripple Effect of Impact book. Again, the launch date is August 20th, so stay tuned. In the in the video, I will share Karen's bio and all the information, how you can get in touch with her. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much for having us today and have a beautiful day. Thank you,
Thanks,
Karen.
Eva.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.